Hello Logic Language Learners. So this is a video about the word de, okay, de, of, from, whatever, proposition. And before we get going, can I completely begin by stressing that we are not saying day. Day in French is another, oh there's a helicopter. Day in French is another word. Okay, D-E-S. So anybody dealing with this video, can we completely make sure that we are not saying day, which is D-E-S, or du, which is D-E plus an L-E, which becomes de, which is du. Okay, so this is about the word de. Okay, put it here, de, je. Now, this is a video which will be covering the basics of de, and we'll be going up to some more complicated stuff. So those of you who I imagine are pretty comfortable with a lot of this, there's still going to be something for you which I am pretty sure, especially those of you that I work with, that it's new for you at the same time. So if you like the video at the end, please do subscribe, please do click like. Again, underneath, give me any comments on any de phrases or uses that you find difficult or weird or you just can't pick up, and obviously do tell everybody about it. And before we crack on, I'm really looking at the moment one of our projects that we've kind of started, and you'll see in some of the A-level material that will have gone up this week if you go into the A-level playlist working with Callum, that we're looking at other websites a lot of the time at the moment, because that is what you guys are doing. It's not that, you know, you're not doing your own work, pardon me, I've just dropped the board rubber. So you're looking at other websites, which is absolutely fine, it's what we want. But what is it that I'm trying to get you to do on purpose? I'm trying to get you to lift off the page the written word and make it into something that A, you're going to be using as a pattern, so we want to reduce it to the pattern. Yeah, we don't want to learn individual examples, we want to reduce it to a pattern so we can remember that. And also, what are we doing? We're talking about this grooves in the sand business, this lines in the sand. You've got to have said enough times the correct version. That's not even correct English. You've got to have said the correct version enough times for your ear to hear that. So all of these examples today, say them out loud with me. Okay? Say them out loud as we go through so that your ear will be comfortable with that. Great story. Last night I was working with the incredibly capable Claire from Australia, who's a lovely person and a lovely student and a great linguist. And we were talking about adverbs. And so, for example, she said, I have spoken, j'ai parlé, I have spoken a lot. And she just said, it just sounds odd to me, j'ai beaucoup parlé, or j'ai bien parlé, I spoke well. No, she was familiar with j'ai beaucoup parlé. She wasn't familiar with j'ai bien parlé. Now, it's the same grammar rule. Yeah, it's exactly the same grammar rule. The adverb goes after verb number one, which she knows, but she just acknowledged, I'm not as... That just still bothers me. And I was like, it's because you have said je parle bien, which is correct French, more, or je parlais bien, I was speaking more. So you just need to, rather than going away and learning these, what does learn mean? Yeah, we want to be able to access them quickly, just copy them. Say them out loud. Let yourself hear yourself saying them. Let your mouth say them. Please, 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 if you want to progress as fast as you possibly can, say things out loud. Do not just read quietly in your room or your study or whatever before going to bed or whenever you choose to watch these videos. Okay? So let's crack on. So, de meaning of, meaning from, and as per normal, all my notes will be underneath in the description box. And if you can't see that straight away, can you please find the screen, find the little down arrow, and have a look there. So, a preposition, de, okay, so it's used, you know, mainly in English for from or of, but also uses in English where we would say by and in. But the main thing your brain is going to be thinking of is from or of, okay? So, let's go through the different options. So to talk about the provenance, that means where something comes from, or the origin of something. So he comes from London, il vient de Londres. So again, right now, for example, you're looking at a pattern and it will be written underneath. So rather than thinking from means, you know, this, that's charging your brain to work with English means this in French. We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want you to be using your English long term. So put your hands up, give yourself a feeling, de. Yeah? He's coming from London. Il vient de Londres. So by all means use the English to know what it means first, but then give yourself that feeling so that when you want to recreate that feeling, il vient de Londres, that you're feeling that rather than the of means this or from means this. We don't want to do, we want to do away with the English. So he comes from London. Il vient de Londres. It's my friend from New York, which would be Stuart, who I teach. So c'est mon ami de New York. C'est mon ami de New York. Okay. He jumped from the window, coming away from the window. Il a sauté de la fenêtre. Okay, good. So de from. Okay. With that, can I remind you, and we will go on to these later, that from the becomes du, de la, or des, if we're obviously using the after it, and we will talk about that later because those words often combine, don't they? So du cinéma, from the cinema, de la pâtisserie, from the cake shop, des, where can we be coming from? Des États-Unis, from the United States. Okay. So used to show possession or belonging, okay? So this is what we call the Saxon genitive in English, where we say Luke's dog, or Paul's dog, the baker's wife, or even just the door key, the key which belongs to the door, which is to do with the door, or Christmas Day, which is the day of Christmas. So some of them are more obvious than others. Let's look what they are in French. So Paul's dog, le chien de Paul, the baker's wife, la femme du boulanger. And can you hear how that du, that masculine, because it's of the, de and le become du. So la femme du boulanger, la clé de la porte, the key of the door, yeah, belonging to the door, that's to do with the door. Le jour de Noël, yeah, Christmas Day, le jour de Noël, okay. Notice we also use de when we're talking in a big superlative way. So it's like the biggest thing, the biggest town in France. We wouldn't say en France. We'd say c'est la plus grande ville de France, like from all of France. Okay, that's a more subtle one. Don't worry about that if that's too subtle for you. Okay. So with the meaning of about or on the subject of, and this is really, really useful. Okay, so about. Again, be careful. Don't be thinking, oh, I'm going to learn it for about. We get the sense and then we're going to use that sense. So, he talks about his mother. He talked about his mother. Il parle de sa mère. Il a parlé de sa mère. He dreams about success. Okay? Il rêve de réussir. What are you complaining about? De quoi, about what, de quoi tu te plains. Okay? So about, okay? I spoke to him about you. Je t'ai parlé de toi. Okay? Side note, whenever we're using this to sort of mean about, this is one of the great things that we use when we switch it up and we use dans and en. So for example, in any of those expressions, and I will come back to these later, like with other expressions like need and look after. Any verb where you have the de before something else, before an object, if you switch it around, as we've talked about before, we have to say dans, D-O-N-T. So dans is like a back to front de. So he talks about his mother. Il parle de sa mère. His mother that he talks about. Sa mère dont il parle. We've talked about that before. Dont is a back to front de. Later on you'll see he needs his mother. Il a besoin. He needs the money. Il a besoin de l'argent. The money he has need of. L'argent dont il a besoin. Okay? And again, same note for your files when you mind map. If we're using a de idea, but we get rid of the de and what comes next. So il parle de sa mère. We're going to literally cut de sa mère, we're going to cut it all off. Il en parle. So dont is, so they rhyme, dont and en. Dont is the upside down version, or the back to front, if you will, version of de. And en is the version of de where you've taken away de and what comes next. So it's like a sort of shortcut version to de and what comes next. Because de obviously needs something after it. We don't just end a sentence with de. Okay? So more on that later. Okay. Some verbs have a de built in. So we're always thinking, oh, where's there an added de or a or what have you? And there will obviously be a video like this on a. Some verbs have an added de built in. So for example, he's looking for a book about no, what am I saying? I'm combining two things. Sorry, what I'm saying is there are other expressions with de that are a little bit more extensive. So for example, he's looking for a book about. We don't just have to use de. We can have au sujet de. I'm talking to you about my mother. Je te parle au sujet de ma mère. Je te parle à propos de ma mère. And notice those are both different expressions, but we're still using de in there. Okay, so de will be the about. Okay, so we have from, but not just possession. We have it to do with who's created this thing, who's behind it, who's the author, who's the writer, what action has caused something else to happen. So we call this agency, cause, or authorship, and so this will make sense. So let's just say a CD by, okay, and the grammar book has given us Jean-Michel Jarre, who I imagine very few of you know, so let's go with Madonna, whatever. So un CD de Madonna, a CD from Madonna. It's not Madonna's CD as in terms of it belongs to her, but it was produced by her. She's behind it. Okay. Let's say a Quentin Tarantino film, un film de Quentin Tarantino. Okay, it's his film. Yeah, he's produced it rather than it belonging to him. He's behind it. Okay. Another one. The road is covered. We'd say in ice, or by ice in English, okay? Or with ice. But the fact is, the ice is behind the road being covered. So, la route est couverte de glace. It's behind it, okay? The room filled up with smoke. What was behind the action of the room filling up? What was the cause of this? The smoke. So, la pièce s'est remplie, reflexive verb, s'est remplie de fumée, okay? He was mad, he was red with anger. Okay, the anger was the cause of him going red. It was the author. So, il est rouge de colère. Okay? That might be a new one where some of you paying attention, half paying attention, who go, yeah, I know all about de. Ooh, that's new. Okay? Also, we use de, and I really want you to get these in your mouth. Can you say for me the expression that most of you I teach know, which is de quelle façon, or de toute façon, which means anyway. Well, anyway, de toute façon. Notice we say de. We don't say in any way. So when you are talking about the way in which you did something in French, you need to use de. So for example, de quelle façon, de quelle manière, can I stress, or in this way, de cette façon, can I stress manière and façon are both feminine, even though façon sounds incredibly masculine. So in what way, de quelle manière? In a direct way, de manière très directe, okay? Come here, he said in an aggressive tone. So the manner, venez ici, dit-il d'un ton agressif, pas dans un ton. Yeah, dans un, in a tone. It's of a tone. Yeah, of a way. Okay. So that will be about manner. But rather than thinking I need to learn that manner in French takes, no, that's not the way we go about it. We say the correct expression. Do you think French speakers walk around going, we use de for manner? No, we just know these words. So say for me, de quelle manière, de quelle manière, de toute façon, de toute façon. And then use an expression. He did it in a really nice way. Il a fait de façon très sympa, d'une façon très sympa. We just get the de in our mouth. Okay? Good. So, talking about material. What something's made of. A velvet dress. Une robe de velours. A house of wood. Une maison de bois. A metal vase. Un vase de métal. We do sometimes use en, like en bois, en velours, but it sounds a little bit higher French, okay? And we don't necessarily always want that, de. So when something's built of something, de, okay? When we talk about contents, okay, so when we talk about a bottle of something, a glass of, a book of stamps. So, un verre de lait, a glass of milk, une bouteille de vin, un carnet de timbre. Okay, so that is because these first words are vessels for what is in the what's after the de. They are used